Hello, everybody. My name is Trevor Sumner. I'm the CEO of Perch, coming to you from the clouds of downtown Brooklyn. Thanks for taking the time. I'm really excited to be here with Sandra Atakora, who is our Director of User Experience and Design. Say hello, Sandra.
Hi, everyone.
As we said, we're really interested in this kind of notion of product engagement marketing. Ultimately, when we think about retail, we think about connecting shoppers and products, people and products. And the reality is that hasn't been done differently for decades. And I think that digital creates the ability to disrupt the way we think about that and the way we combine the best of both digital and physical retail. We're going to show you some best practices in design that we've learned as part of that process. So, Sandra, do you want to pull up our slides?
Yes.
Great. So hopefully you can see that, and we'll go into presentation mode. All right, it's up for me, so I hope it's up for you. So great, let's jump in. If you think about, kind of retail and brick and mortar, people always ask me, like, Trevor, you're a technologist. What are you doing in brick and mortar retail? E-commerce is the future. Well, the reality is over 75% of retail sales occur in brick and mortar stores. You can actually see the annual consumer spend increase in brick and mortar has been higher. And, people who say that e-commerce is the future, 80% of millennials and Gen Z actually prefer shopping in store, right? So, this should be our focus, but the question is, why isn't it growing more? Why isn't it connecting? And that's what we really want to address. But it's not just that it's bigger, but really that brick and mortar unlocks profitability, right? So stores have better cost of acquisition at scale. That's why Amazon is going into brick and mortar. In fact, Amazon doesn't make a lot of money on e-commerce, much to kind of the misnomer of the industry. They make money on their marketplace. They make money on their ad platform. They make money on AWS. 2/3 of direct-to-consumer companies who've raised over $6 million open up stores because that's where the profitability is. Nike just announced a loss, not just because of the 38% sales cost, but their margins decreased by 8% because they went from a richer mix of e-commerce. Omnichannel shoppers spend 7 times as much as e-commerce only shoppers. Return rates are 70% lower in stores. Stores have a bigger impact on brand. So we know that brick and mortar is really kind of crucial to the story of retail. So why isn't, why do we need to look at digital and in such a focus? It's because 87% of shoppers begin their product journey online. And the reason is that's where the content lives. We know what they want. They want videos and ratings and reviews. They want to be able to, they need that information. We crave that information to select products. So in thinking about digital and e-commerce, going to the next slide, it's like, why can't I, I can click on products online. Why can't I click on products in store? And so you take a look at, what traditional technologies, what that click is in store. It's the ability to touch a product. That is effectively what a click is in store. And we think about that as the opportunity to kind of bring in this content. But when you don't bring in that content, when you don't provide content like that, 27% of shoppers are going to go into their mobile phones and actually go in store and then buy your product online, right? So if you think about that, that might be buying from you. They may be buying from Amazon. They may be buying something else. It's a lost opportunity. So we really think about this omnichannel as a mixture between physical and digital shopping. Next slide, Sandra. And I think this is a huge opportunity because if you look at the dark blue line, which is the media spend and the proportion to retail sales, right? Like we're spending the majority of our digital ad dollars online, and that's only where 25% of sales are happening. So there's a huge gap, and it's completely inverted that we haven't been spending digital media in store. And the reason is because we lack the ability to do product level information and we lack the data associated with it so that we can optimize these campaigns. So if you think about it, if you think about touching a product as a click, right, of a product, and you think about every single row and aisle in every store, billions of impressions, billions of product interactions, billions in purchases with almost zero digital media and zero data. But that's about to change. And we're seeing that through a variety of different technologies. And that's why I'm excited to actually introduce the real star of the show, which is Sandra, to talk about what we've learned about how to use technology to both deliver digital media that's actually relevant at the product level, that helps connect a shopper and a product, but also how to collect the data in a way to constantly inform in-store design and improve sales lifts, business outcomes, and overall the customer experience. So with that, Sandra, why don't you take the keys?
Thank you so much, Trevor. Yeah, so what I want to talk about is what we call product engagement marketing, which is, as Trevor so greatly introduced, marketing techniques and technologies that drive shoppers to engage with products. But before I go into sort of the details of how we do that, how that works, I want to take a step back and look at the shopper journey when it comes to product engagement. So here we see an overview of some of the touch point that you encounter in store as you move closer to your decision to purchase, as you find the product that is of your interest. So looking at all the touch points that relate to product engagement, from store signage, figuring out where in the store your product is located, to shelf talkers, QR codes, digital signage, and product packaging. These are the touch points that we know today. And the issue here is that if you look at these bars, that they fail to provide the right experience at the right moment. As the customer kind of moves closer to the product, we can think of their attention increasing, but the level of information available doesn't increase at the same rate. So at this moment where your customer is closest to the product, they're actually holding it in their hand. The only information that's available is what's on the product packaging, which is tiny little type that doesn't provide much information. So this leads to kind of a variety of customer pain points. So at this kind of last step of the product engagement journey, where the customer is really trying to select, to figure out if the product they selected is the right one for them. It's difficult to figure out if they can trust new product options. It's difficult to explore options for customizations. It can be difficult to try on products, and really just figuring out if it's the right product for them. So this is what we think of as the product engagement marketing opportunity. So transforming those pain points into opportunities and actually solving them by providing the content that you need. So the way to think about it is that we're closing this gap between information and attention. So at this level, when the customer is holding the product in their hand and you have their full attention, this is the opportunity to provide the information that they need. So this information includes product details, such as product features, benefits, specifications, and video, social proof, such as ratings, reviews, and influencer videos, complementary products, product visualization, such as virtual try-on, product selection tools, and really just providing the right experience at the right time. And all of this can happen at this crucial moment of product touch when the customer really needs it. So you might think, how is this different from digital signage? We have a screen that's placed in store. We have the product. But when you think about digital signage, what often happens is that the screen interrupts rather than assists the customer journey by providing non-targeted information. So if you think of the product of interest where your attention is focused, and then the screen, a lot of the time what happens, because those two don't have a direct relationship, is that there's a battle of attention between the two. But when we talk about intelligent displays and product engagement marketing, we actually help guide the customer's attention. So from the product that they have picked up, we use sound and visuals to bridge the gap, to make a connection to the screen. We can also guide the attention back to products using planogram overviews, using lights that light up the shelf to show you where the product is. So really what this does when you think about the customer journey is that it creates kind of a guided user experience. So rather than having this fight for attention, you're really taking control of the customer's attention and helping them get the information that is most crucial to them. And on top of this, we're actually able to collect data here. So not only are you able to provide this very consistent user journey, you're also able to see what that journey looks like for the user and send that product engagement data back to you as a brand or retailer. And I'll get into this a little bit later on about how we use this data to optimize the experience. So it kind of becomes this cyclical process. But before I do that, I want to just really zoom in on this moment of product touch, because not only is it magical that we're able to provide an experience where the display is so intelligent that it knows what product you're picking up. So it kind of creates this, from a user perspective, magical experience where what you're seeing on the screen corresponds to what you're holding in your hand. But also from a business perspective, we know that touching a product makes consumers 40 to 60% more likely to purchase, and that shoppers value products 75% more if they hold them for just 30 seconds. So this moment of product touch is really so crucial, which is why we want to optimize how it works for customers. So a little bit about how to do that, how to bridge this gap between physical and digital, and how to create intelligent visuals that support and enhance this product engagement journey. So I think even before I get into these steps, the very first things, and I could have shown a better example for this here on the side, but we actually know that portrait screens drive more engagement. So just thinking about how the screen orientation works in store, using motion and messaging to draw them in, to highlight these moments of interactivity on the screen, and also the fact that the whole display itself is interactive. From there, being able to react and guide the customer. So using sound to guide the attention from product to screen. So let's say you're shopping at an end cap and you bent down to pick up a product, you hear a sound from the screen that guides your attention. From there, you see a picture of the product that you're holding in your hand to confirm this relationship between the physical and digital. So we make sure to confirm the interaction through visuals. Fourth, we reward engagement by using videos, also sounds, to keep the customers engaged. So really focusing on providing the most impactful media upfront. To build trust, we use ratings and reviews to establish trustworthiness. And what we can do from there is make suggestions. So the customer is already holding one product in their hand. So from there, we have the opportunity to suggest related products, and that would drive increase of basket size. We also make suggestions just in terms of interactivity. So animated buttons help identify touch points. And I think this is an important point because a lot of the times when we think about digital, we think about personal devices, and digital in physical spaces is different. So we need kind of specific design tactics to show how the screen is interactive. And then lastly, being intentional. So using technology such as front-facing cameras, we're able to target visuals and messaging based on demographic. So I'm sure some of you are thinking, what does this look like? Today, we're living in this time of COVID-19. The world as we know it is changing very rapidly. So I just wanted to take a look at these touch points again and kind of relate them to this idea of actual physical touch. So if you look at the first ones, no touch is necessary. And then you look at the screen ones marked in orange, where you can have the option for touch. And then finally, the moment of picking up the product is this touch inevitable moment. So that really just speaks to us wanting to reward that moment even more. So we cannot avoid picking up products. So why not reward that interaction with the information that is needed? Furthermore, the CDC has declared that surface transmission is not a major pathway of COVID-19 contagion. So we're also seeing this in that touchscreen usage is now above pre-COVID levels for our displays in store. Still, there's some initiatives we can take to make our displays even more or any display in store even more COVID friendly. So there's antimicrobial film that can be attached to a display and actually helps clean the display. Like it's a self-cleaning film that will kill COVID-19 or any or other virus in about 30 minutes. Another big advantage is the ability to kind of provide sales assistance through the screen, which is safer than in like person-to-person interaction. So an example of that is here, this Make It Mine personalization, where you're actually able to explore kind of a more complicated personalization, like customization journey for these purses that you otherwise would have needed a store associate to kind of walk you through. This also opens up for the opportunity for gesture-based interactions. So creating, like thinking through new ways of actually controlling a display that doesn't involve touching a surface. So when you think about these experiences, I think what I've been focused on the most is how to create this engaging experience for the customer. But what comes out of this is also all this data that we're actually able to gain insight into middle of the funnel shopper behavior. And we're able to take that insight and like feed it back into the design process and optimize how we design these experiences. So we have an example of this from Johnson & Johnson, where one of their products on an end cap, Clean and Clear, was their worst performing product, the least amount of screen touches, the least amount of product touches. But where it was performing was in the conversion from product pickup to screen interaction. So we were able to see that even though it wasn't performing well, there was something different here, that people were picking up this product and then going to the screen. So what we did is compare the content that was featured for this product compared to other products. And we saw that the only difference was the use of influencer videos. So even though Aveeno had, celebrity videos with Jennifer Aniston, there was Kerry Washington, this Clean and Clear was performing so well on the content side using influencer videos. So what we did was implement influencer videos across the board, and we're actually able to see a 10% lift in sales and a 20% increase in engagement across the board. So this is like a really incredible opportunity for us as designers as well, to actually be able to see the impact of the experiences that we create and then feed that back into the design process. So finally, just rounding up here, as we were talking about data, just looking at how this product engagement marketing approach really differs. Our results here showing, 4 to 5 times higher customer engagement, which when I think about it from a design perspective, I think this ties back to this idea of not fighting for attention between the screen and the product, but actually guiding them and tying them together. So using the digital content to enhance the product engagement experience. And also in terms of sales, we're just, this increased engagement is also, helping us drive sales, and really just showing how tying the content together is the most crucial to achieve this.
Yeah, so thank you, Sandra. I think you gave a great overview. And look, a lot of these insights about what content hits, when to play the right sound, when to use the right image associated with the product, that comes through data, right? And so I think that this is like, I have a lot of friends in the digital signage industry, and they hate it when I say this, but I do believe it. The digital signage, traditional digital signage, is the banner ad of in-store retail. And if you remember banner ads, which we're now blind to, it's interruptive media. Maybe it's Maybelline, maybe it's Maybelline. And that's great for brand building, but that doesn't help consumers pick a product. It doesn't help you, doesn't have the analytics associated with it to realize what types of digital actually influence people. Sandra mentioned the example of Johnson & Johnson. We've also looked at, Macy's and looked at, imagine asking a brand, if they weren't able to see the conversion rate of their advertisement, right, online, you'd think they were crazy. But ask brands, when somebody picks up their product, what percentage of the time does it convert to a sale? They'll look at you like you have 9 heads. How does, we work with Macy's on the fragrance side of the house. How does your fragrance, when somebody picks it up and smells it, convert to sales better than the guy next to him? Brands have no idea. And not having that information on the conversion rates means you're flying blind, right? Whether it's the way that digital influences it, whether your pricing or packaging strategy influences it, all of design starts opening up when you have a platform for instrumenting each behavior at the shelf, each click into the product, each media impression. That can be the packaging, it could be the shelf talker, it could be the QR code, or it could be an interactive display. And so, I think of this as being, for the first time, really being able to do product level marketing in store and to connect the shoppers with products and understand that connection. And to me, that's what really excites me. Whether it's Perch, whether it's your mobile app, whether it's an RFID-based system, I think starting to think through the way this data can be used and also can broker closer relationships between retailers and brands and the way they share this data is really exciting to us. And I think is really going to impact the way we see the future of in-store design. So thank you for joining our talk. If you have any questions, reach out to me. I'm Trevor at Perch Interactive. Sandra is Sandra at perchinteractive.com. And we're also, on LinkedIn and Twitter and all those things. So please connect with us, and thank you for your time today.
Thank you.